Hi, welcome to this Excel file password protection for a Mac operating system. The structure of this video will be as follows. First, I will cover the key advantages to have a password protection on an Excel file. Then I will cover the step-by-step basis using a macro-enabled Excel worksheet, which will make a business case justification for the file protection. Excel file password protection does not protect against malicious threats and PC viruses, so this is truly to protect against unauthorized use for editing the file. Which takes me to this. So when we get to the file and I start to go over the tutorial on a step-by-step basis on an Excel file, you'll see that on a Mac, once we go to the file and passwords, we will be prompted with this message that will say it's a caution. Password to modify is not a security feature. This document will be protected from unintentional editing. So that will be one of the key advantages against unintentional users for editing the file. However, the document is not encrypted. Malicious users can edit the file and remove the password. That being said, there are a lot of great advantages. So some of the advantages which I've already mentioned is to prevent unauthorized users from editing the file. If you have confidential information that goes on for both personal use or business related cases. For the business related cases, which is what this video will be covering, let's say if you have a personnel information and you are an HR person, budgeting information, forecasts, stakeholder sensitive accounting information, customers' data. These are some of the business case justifications that would make a perfect case to protect a file with a password. The file that I'll be covering on this video is a macro enabled file. So that being said, if you have macros, which is VBA is a Excel programming language on a file. So in that case, you want to secure your macros and the work because it takes significant amount of time to redo work manually. And the reason for having implemented a macro on that file to begin with was to increase efficiency, so to save you time and work. So for that reason, that would make, again, a great business case justification to secure that file with a password. Lastly, but not least, I would like to point out that you have 5 options for the password security. If you haven't watched my video about worksheet and workbook protections on Excel, please watch that to learn how to protect the Excel worksheet and workbook to add extra security features to your Excel file. And I will include a link to that video for the Excel worksheet and workbook protection at the end of this video. If those key advantages resonate with you and those are some of your objectives, this video is for you. Please stay tuned in until the end because the tips and tricks will be definitely amplifying the value of your work. Now let's jump into my Mac now to go over those steps together. With the business case for Excel file password encryption justification. Welcome to the second section of the tutorial, Excel file protection for the Mac operating system. Welcome. And first and foremost, I would like to thank all of my current subscribers, because thanks to all of you, I now have the official URL address for this platform, T-Square, and to that I am grateful. And for all of the new viewers, welcome as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, which can be located somewhere right here on the bottom right, and also right below this channel. And also to all of you, please like and share this video with your network, and let's continue to build a knowledge, let's continue to spread a wisdom, and let's build an ecosystem that is more sustainable. And please comment. I would welcome all of your participation. With your feedback, I will be able to amplify the value of the future contents. Now, I would like to say that I chose this file because it meets all of the criteria that I spoke about earlier during the first section. It's got a built-in macro, and let me speak a little bit about that. It's got a built-in macro, and this macro took me literally 1 minute to record it, to figure it out. And it's something, it does the task in 1 second, a task that would have otherwise taken half an hour to do manually. And I will be producing a video that will be dedicated specifically how to record a macro. Now that is a general video, so it spreads across any operating systems, as long you will figure out your shortcuts key. Depends on which operating system you will be working with. Now, I am a super Windows user myself. So, I spend about 8 to 14 hours a day on Windows. So for me, Windows is what I am extremely proficient with, but I use the Mac operating system for my personal ventures, such as this here, YouTube. So also, the file is a forecast model, and let me speak a little bit about that. The information that you will be seeing here is purely for teaching purpose. T-Square currently does not sell software license in any of the regions that will be mentioned in this video, so it's purely for teaching purpose. And with that being said, welcome again, and let's get right to the process of applying step-by-step basis of how to implement a password and how to make a business case justification for a file that would require a password to increase the data security to protect the value of your work, and also to add a value to your organization if you will be using this for a business purpose. So without further ado, let's begin now. Again, it's a forecast model, and for the T-Square, as stated, these numbers are not real. The information here is being used only for pure teaching purpose of this platform. And that being said, this forecast model is a sophisticated model. It is projected to be in multi-regions, both within the United States and Northern and Southern European regions. The forecast model has an assigned macro, and the macro is meant to wipe out this entire data The budget information, this is assuming that it operates within a calendar year, which means that the fiscal year had started back in January of 2021. And the second quarter of this fiscal year ended as of June 30th. Fiscal year budget is a CL number and cannot change. For that reason, it is imperative that these numbers get locked and this file gets a password protection. Our forecast is always to give back to the budget. For that reason, you can see that the variance between the budget and a forecast is $0. The company has an aggressive plan to grow progressively year over year at a 3% average. It uses a moving average forecast model, which takes a consideration that the continuous growth will remain based on the 3% inflation rate year over year. Within the United States, the inflation rate has been 2%. But when you think of it as in multi-regions, including the Europe, the 3% seems to be in line with, also it seems to be in line with the historical trend rate. That if I move over to the historical trend, this historical trend analysis feeds the information into the executive summary region. The executive summary region currently has additional protection. It's got the protection that protects the sheet. Now let me take you over to the forecast accuracy quality measure tools, which takes MAPE. So MAPE here means absolute percentage of error. So we believe that every error in a variance, even when it is justifiable, it is an error. So for that reason, we have incorporated the MAPE quality measures forecast to signal us when we are running over our budget. So the MAPE forecast accuracy is embedded within these calculations here. With that being taken all into considerations, we feel that this file makes a perfect business case justification to embed a password. So I will now show you the steps of how to do that. To do that, you go to File, and then you come to Passwords, and then you might want to choose password to open and password to modify, or just one versus another. Perhaps this will be more recommended based on your organization. For this reason, I'm using both. As I mentioned earlier, the password here does not protect against malicious. So if you need to encrypt this file, it would require a coding that would make an encryption, and that would be a level up. A password is to protect against unauthorized users. Once you are satisfied with your information, you simply click OK. So I will go ahead. It will tell you, so in this case, it actually just notify me that the password is not identical. That is a great message to be on the lookout for, which means that your password needs to be identical. Once you do that, just click OK, and then it will ask you to re-enter the password and click OK. Now that this file has a password protection, you simply click Save. It is saved. Now I wanted to illustrate how this macro does a 1 second work for a task that would have otherwise taken half an hour to do manually. So now that the file is saved, I would love to make that illustration so you'll see that this entire information, all these cells, will be completely wiped out. I've just clicked the cleanup, and it will take a second, and there we go. So that information that would have taken half an hour to clean up is all gone. All of the client related information is cleared. I purposely decided to make sure that the dollar amount stays there because I have a VLOOKUP table that I can easily look that up. But that just gives you an idea of why password is so critical. And again, that information also has wiped out the data on this section because the macro is also working with this information. Additionally, it has also wiped out the data on the executive summary. So I hope that you have found this tutorial helpful to your needs, and that has now concluded this tutorial. Thank you.